Here I go, here I go, here I go. Yeah, here I go, here I go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of the Take Podcast. I'm your host, Jackson Burleson, of course. And in today's episode, I got a Cub fan joining me on the podcast today. My boy Gabe right here. Appreciate you joining the pod once again, bro.
Of course, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Let's do it. So, MLB Playoffs are back.
Here we go.
October baseball is here. We got the playoff picture. The bracket is set. Let's start out with the American League. And then we'll do the National League. The Blue Jays and Twins are the first wild card series. The Twins are looking for their first postseason win in 19 years. That is absolutely insane.
It really is. As long as I've been alive. I mean, I've been alive for 19 years. It's kind of crazy to think about, but it's really insane. At home, too. You have a pretty good fight for the team, for the series, but I do think that Toronto's going to pull it off there in 2 games. I feel like they might take it in 2 games.
In 2 games, yeah. I like their bats. I like Vladimir Guerrero.
Oh, yeah.
I like Bichette.
Oh yeah,
those guys are elite.
absolutely.
Especially Guerrero. I mean, he won the home run derby this year.
Home run derby, yeah. I mean, they're all amazing. You got Springer, you got Bichette, like you said, Guerrero. You got a good fielder in Kevin Kiermaier, Gold Glove fielder. Fielding wins championships. Defense, they win championships. They have a pretty packed squad. I think they'll take it over the Twins there.
I agree. I got the Blue Jays in 2 games, but the Twins, I mean, they got a little roster. I mean, they got Carlos Correa on that side. They got some pitching. They got Lopez. I mean,
they got Sonny Gray. You know, they got
Kepler as well.
Yeah, Kepler. But I mean, he leads the league in home runs. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, not the league. The team in home runs and RBIs, but it's very little. I mean, it's 24, if I'm not mistaken, and 64 RBIs as well for the team. That's very little. I mean, that's offense is not going to do much against that Rays pitching.
Blue Jays guys. Sorry. Rays and Jays sound the same, guys.
Yeah, it's a little confusing there. But against their pitching, Kevin Gausman, great splitter. I mean, the guy's a nasty splitter. He can really throw it, and it just dips. It looks like a fastball. Comes in, dips inside. The right-handed batter, left-handed batter, right into their hands, right to their fists, down and in, away. He's a nasty splitter. Could really get him on the strike.
Speaking of a guy, Durantula.
Oh, yes.
Durantula on the Twins side, he throws a 100-mile-an-hour splitter.
That's insane. Over 100 miles an hour.
And he's got the coldest closer entrance ever.
Absolutely. I mean, he could really dip it in there. I mean, it goes one way and then to another. It's basically unhittable. It should be illegal how disgusting that pitch is. I mean, you combine that with a regular fastball, a nasty slider down and away. There's no chance. And if the Twins can get that position in the game, who knows?
They can win, but
maybe
both of us don't have the Twins winning.
Again, this playoff is going to be a dogfight with these teams. But with the bats of the Blue Jays and the pitching, I think it outmatches the Twins. You know, the Twins have good starters. Their bullpen is iffy. I just feel like with that Rays squad, Blue Jays
squad.
Get it right here. Come on, man.
So the Twins streak continues. It goes to 20 now.
I think so. I think they'll get swept, but
it goes to 20. Yeah. It goes to 20. Blue Jays advance. Now let's go to the Rays.
The Rays.
All right. Okay. I think he's been anxious to talk about the Rays since he brought them up twice on accident. Let's do Rangers. Now this is an interesting series. On the Rangers side, you got an interesting pitching core there, but you got some hitting.
Absolutely.
Led by Corey Seager, who's batting .329.
Adolis Garcia.
Arguably the best shortstop in baseball right now.
Adolis Garcia, I mean, he leads his team in home runs with exactly 39 and 107 RBIs. I mean, that's pretty impressive for one offensive player for that team. But Seager, .327 average. How about that? That's a pretty good hitting right there, man.
That's why they gave him almost $500 million, over 10 years. That's why they gave him a bag. I mean, he struggled last year, but
absolutely,
it's looking like Corey Seager is back. But
I know
I'm gonna go with the Rays in 3 games. I just think the Rays, they've been more consistent throughout the season. The Rangers, they've been kind of up and down. Like they've had times where they can be really, really good,
right,
and then they have times where they're really, really bad. Like they got 8-0'd on against the Mariners a couple days ago.
Yeah, they've been up and down, pretty consistent at
times. And they didn't win their division. They were leading their division, and then the Astros just snagged it, which we'll bring up the Astros a little bit later.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to go with the Rays here.
Yeah, me too. I agree with you on that. I think the Rays will pull it off, especially at home. Again, Tropicana Field, not known to pack the stadium, but the Rays have a pretty good record in their home park. So I feel like the Rays take
And
it.
they got Yandy Diaz as well. I mean, he's batting 330.
Andy
the guy's ridiculous.
Andy Diaz can hit it for days. Great leadoff hitter. I mean, that's a leadoff hitter for days, man. You over 330 and over as leadoff hitter, you're set. I mean, you get on base for Rosarena, for Isaac Paredes. You go in there and you give the star powered players to get a chance to drive in some runs against a pretty, I would say, okay Texas Rangers starting pitching rotation. They can really ball out there.
Yeah, they can. And we both got the Rays. So let's go ahead and go to ALDS. We're going to start with the Astros. And Blue Jays. We all know the Astros are experienced.
Absolutely.
And this year, shockingly enough, they're led by Kyle Tucker, who's batting 284.
That is amazing. Kyle Tucker can absolute ball. He is leading almost every category in offensive besides Jordan Alvarez. I mean,
Jordan Alvarez has got 31 home runs. He leads the team.
Yeah, that's insane.
We all know he's a nasty power hitter.
He could hit him. I mean, you don't get that bat to that ball, he'll kill it. He'll take it way over the batter's eye out there in center field. We saw last year in the World Series against the Phillies. We'll get to that later also.
And then Bregman, I mean, he's got 163 hits this year. I mean, don't forget about Alex Bregman. I mean, absolutely. And then the star of that team, Jose Altuve. I mean,
what a story.
He's kind of underrated. He's kind of under the radar this year for some reason. Like I don't know why. Like he's not getting a lot of recognition this year, but when it comes playoff time, that dude is clutch.
He can clutch in the postseason. We saw in 2017. Different story, and all baseball fans might think of that differently. But regardless of that incident or not, Altuve can ball, and he has shown it. Altuve really knows how to play. Great contact. Still has good speed. Pretty good with the glove. I mean, he can pick it. I would say 2017 MVP, but again.
So how many games is it going to take the Astros
to beat that club? I would say
the Blue Jays got a squad, but I think
they might take it at 5.
Yeah, I would agree with you. 5 games. I think the Blue Jays will get 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be quite an interesting series.
Absolutely.
So the Astros go to the ALCS once again.
Once again, I know.
Once again, they're like the Chiefs in baseball. I swear.
Baseball, it's just continuous after continuous season. They're just that good, but they have a good team. They really do. But.
They have. I mean, they're just experienced like no other team. But
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a team that's not nearly as experienced. The Baltimore Orioles. We both have them taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, the Baltimore Orioles 2 years ago won 47 games. They haven't been to the playoffs in 9 years. Wow. So this is a little bit new for the Orioles organization in this time.
Right. No, I agree. I agree this series is going to be a dogfight. You got Adley Rutschman. I mean, he had an amazing home run derby.
Yeah, the guy did a switch stance. Like, dude, what? Like, how do you switch stances mid home run derby?
The first time I've ever seen at a home run derby. I can't lie.
That was ridiculous. I was like, I was looking at the TV because I remember I was at this baseball sports bar and I was like, wait. He was just on the other side of the plate like 2 seconds ago. I looked and I was like, what is going on here? But he's a stud and he really young.
Can hit it.
He is young.
Switch hit, young phenom. I mean, he has a great average. We can look at his average here. I mean, he could really hit it. I mean, and he has a great catcher glove behind the plate. I mean, he's a great catcher behind there. He could really throw it, sling it down at second base, cut some runners will be key. This stealing bases this postseason is going to be clutch. And the catchers had to step up. And the best catchers in the league, like Ramuto, Rutschman, they're going to show off when it matters most.
Does the inexperience for you kind of make you hesitant to pick the Orioles? Because I'm picking the Orioles in 5 games against the Rays because I think the Rays are going to give them a run for their money just because they are more experienced. And like you said, like I think Rutschman is batting like over like 300, like something ridiculous. Like I mean, he's so good. Insane. He's so good, and he can hit the ball like no other player in the league right now. And they're hot.
Absolutely, they're hot right now.
It's key in the playoffs to be riding in hot. It is. Yep. You know that.
Absolutely. You have to be hot to go in the playoffs. If not, it takes your whole flow off the team. You know, you can't be a productive team if you're not hot, and if you can't produce in that situation, I believe, in my personal opinion, you know, this is my little hot take. If you can't produce in the playoffs and it matters most, are you legit? So this will show out a lot of players, the teams. It's gonna show up. But back to the series, I think the Orioles, the inexperienced team over the experienced team. I think the Rays, they had, their chance. I know they were good to start the year, 13-0. I got the Orioles in 5. It's going to be a big dog fight, but with the players they have and the roster, and they're the home team, obviously the favorite. Cameron Yards,
they're hungry.
Very hungry, and they're going to show out and ball to the very
Yeah.
last pitch, the very last out. They have the talent. This team is young. Reminds me of 2016 Cubs. Not to go there, but they have that type of
Yeah,
squad.
I agree. It's very, very, very similar, and they're going to be taking on the Astros in our prediction in the ALCS. That is going to be a very interesting series. I think it goes 7. Either way, whoever wins, it goes 7. I'm going to take the youth on this one. I'm going to go with the Orioles to knock off the Astros. I know a lot of people are probably going to blow up in the comment section, be like, "Oh, like the Astros, like their experience, like yada yada yada." I don't care. Like, I think youth is just going to trample this Houston team. I think I don't know. I just don't think teams know what is going to happen with the Orioles. Like, they're gonna surprise people. Move on to the NLDS. You got the Brewers and the choke artists, the Dodgers. I'm just saying, I don't have confidence in the Dodgers for one reason. Their pitching has no depth. None. And Kershaw is their best guy, and he's old. Like, he's bound to get injured at some point. Like, I know they're talented in the bats. Like, they got Mookie Betts. They got Freddie Freeman. Like, I know they got some guys over there. Yeah, let's go into the NLCS where the Dodgers, or excuse me, not the NLCS. Let's go to the other game of the NLDS. Phillies Braves. I'm sorry. I'm going Phillies in 5 games. They're just better. Like, they picked up Trey Turner. They got Bryce Harper. They got Kyle Schwarber. I know his batting average is bad. I know. But he hit 47 home runs this year, my friend. He crushes the baseball. They have pitching. But I know the Braves are good. They got a squad over there. They got Acuna. They got Austin Riley. I mean, they got some players over there, but it's just like, this is the same situation as last year. The Braves had 100 wins last year, and it was just like, are they going to do it? And they didn't do it. Like, they just didn't. And the Phillies own them in the playoffs. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they just do. They just do. So I have them going to the NLCS once again.
It's going to be a great series. And I'm unfortunately going to disagree with you. I'm going to say the Braves, with that power offense they have in Mount Olson, Acuna, Albies, Ozuna, Riley, studs. Four players in that roster, 100 plus RBIs. That's crazy. I mean, I know it's a pitching and defense wins championships. And I know Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are stud pitchers.
Yeah. 100%.
They really are.
Yeah.
But if the Braves can get over that and use their bats to their advantage and use that solid bullpen they have, I think they can pull it off.
Phillies have better bats. Bryce Harper. What are you going to do against Bryce Harper?
I mean, better bats. Have you seen Acuna?
And Trey Turner. What are you going to do against that?
Acuna this year?
Yeah, I've seen Acuna this year, but he's not Bryce Harper.
Olsen? He's not Bryce Harper?
No, his name's not Bryce Harper.
He's not Bryce Harper.
No,
but he stole 73
Bryce
bags.
Harper's a dog. Last year in the playoffs, he was clutch.
He is clutch.
Like, everyone was questioning about him last year, like, oh, can Bryce Harper actually be like the main catalyst of a team that's going to win a World Series? I think last year he proved that, and I think he's going to prove these doubters wrong.
Absolutely.
I think he's going to wake a lot of these doubters up out of their bed. They're going to be like, oh my God, like, oh, Bryce Harper is back. Like, oh boy, like, baseball hates him. Like, baseball hates Bryce Harper.
I am not a Bryce Harper hater. I think he's actually a great player. Coming back from Tommy John surgery and the shortest recovery ever. I mean, you're not supposed to recover from Tommy John that short. I mean, that is insane how fast he recovered.
What was the time? What like, how long does it usually take to recover?
I think it was supposed to recover faster than he needed to. And that just shows how much of a dog he has in him.
Yeah, which is why the Phillies are going to win.
Well, I feel like if Spencer Strider can get zipping those strikeouts like he's been doing all year, great fastball. The Strider slider, they call it. He really can zip it in there and dare it down with that breaking ball.
I will say this about that series, though. I think whoever wins out of Braves, Phillies, we can say whoever wins, we can disagree, whatever. They're winning the National League. Whoever wins that series is coming out of the National League.
Absolutely, I agree with that. They are both very good teams, and again, I might back you up here. The Phillies bullpen is really good. I think it's better than the Braves bullpen, but I just can't see the Braves losing again to that team after what happened last year with the extraordinary off-season year Atlanta just had.
Okay, all right. We can agree to disagree. Let's go to the NLCS. We have completely different NLCSs. You got the Dodgers and Braves, and I got the Phillies and Brewers. For mine, I got the Phillies winning in 5 games. I just think the Phillies are going to be way too much for the Brewers to handle, in my opinion. I mean, just like we said, we were talking about it earlier, and I just don't think the Brewers have enough. I really don't. But for you got the Dodgers and Braves. that is a little interesting.
I honestly think the Braves are gonna possibly walk the floor with the Dodgers.
It's clean sweep.
Not clean sweep. I'll give it 6 games.
So a gentleman sweep.
Around that.
They'll beat them, but they'll be like, okay, we'll give you 1 game.
Yeah. I'll give it a couple games. I'll say in 5.
5. Yeah.
With maybe one good starter, the Dodgers can have. Maybe Kershaw. You have Lance Lynn too, but Lance Lynn not great
Both
with
of
the
those
White
guys
Sox.
are old. They're both old. They've both been in the
older
league
pitching.
for a minute.
They got Dustin May as well, but I haven't heard too much from him. The pitching depth of the Dodgers is not there.
It's weird. That's why I don't have them being the Brewers. It's because the pitching is such a big question mark, and everyone knows in the MLB playoffs, pitching
matters.
Is the most important thing. It is. It doesn't matter how good your bats are. If you have no pitching that's consistent, you're screwed. You're so screwed.
No, I agree. And with them Atlanta bats, it is not going to be easy.
Yeah, if that with your prediction, which I don't think the Braves are going to be there, but if that does happen, I agree. Like, there's going to be a lot of balls in the stands. I will say that. Like,
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of people catching the ball. Like, they're going to be like, oh, like, hey, wait.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to do it. I think Acuna is going
a lot of home runs.
Be sweeping bags, going to be stealing bags left and right. 73 stolen bases this year for Acuna.
Okay, that's insane.
That is insane.
That is great. And the gap was insane. Like,
to go along with amazing, absolutely. To go along with the amazing year Atlanta's had, they had broken records left and right.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, Acuna broke the record for Braves stolen bases in history with 73.
Didn't they tie the Twins for the home run record?
They did.
With 307?
With 307, that's correct.
I'm surprised they didn't break it.
I am too, actually. That's a good take right there. I would absolutely agree with that. I would think they would probably have one more.
Because they had 3 guys with over 30 home runs. Like,
absolutely.
Bro, that just doesn't happen in baseball, like ever.
No, it's a powerhouse type offense.
No, it is. But you got the Braves advancing. I got the Phillies in the World Series, but we both have the Orioles in the World Series. Let's get into the World Series.
Absolutely.
We both have the Orioles. Now, I've got Orioles, Phillies. Now, I'm going to take the Phillies in 6 games. I'm telling you, that experience the Phillies have last year was just so critical. And then Kyle Schwarber, like, I mean, he's had so much experience under his belt in the playoffs. Like, I mean, that man is just, you can say whatever you want about him in the regular season. Like, sometimes he has a good season, sometimes he doesn't in the regular season, but you know that man is going to show up. And I'm telling you, like, I just don't, that Orioles pitching is going to be like,
whoa!
What? I don't want to throw the ball.
Yeah, they're not going to want to throw anything.
They might walk Schwarber, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
crucial spot, they'll definitely want to walk Kyle. But if they need to, they feel like Kyle is capable to really murder a baseball. They will take the advantage to not face
He's capable. Like, he hits the baseball so hard, the yarn's going to pop out of the baseball.
I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, he has some serious power. But I would definitely agree with how big the bats are with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
You know, I don't fight that at all.
But you got the Braves in there.
The Braves, I know. But the Braves, they're making it to the World Series. And we were predicted that. But with the Braves, they have better bats.
So you got the Braves
running
it?
I got the Braves winning it all. I know it's pretty typical, pretty basic, kind of just like, okay, number 1 seed. But I just can't see them not winning it. I know it's pretty basic baseball knowledge, and I can go up and down baseball knowledge to the best of my ability. But I just feel like with this core they have, and with a bullpen that can be fixed up in this scenario, and the starters can get deep into games. If the starters can get deep into games, especially Spencer Strider, I know I talk about him a lot, but he's really good. I mean, he's in talks for NL Cy Young. It might be Justin Steele. It might be Blake Snell. But if you think about it, if you can go deep into a game, 7-8 innings, bring in AJ Minter, 21 holds, power lefty, 95 plus with a nasty breaking ball to the best of him, it's going to be tough, man. I think it's going to be pretty tough, but this series is going to be tough, in my opinion. It's going to go 7, but
this is good.
Give it to the Braves.
But this is a good experience for the Orioles, though, I think. Like, just
absolutely
making it to the playoffs after all they went through.
I mean, they should have their season's already won. I mean, they make it to the World Series for the first time.
You said they haven't won a World Series since 1993 earlier.
83.
Oh, 83. What?
83, yeah. 1983
was
the last
time. Whoa, that's even worse.
No, 1983, yeah. 1983 is the last time the Orioles won the World Series, guys.
My God.
That is pretty. I mean, we can't talk, buddy. We really can't.
Hey, but we got it in 2016.
Yeah,
but that's our playoff pods. That's perfect. I'm so glad you brought that up. So our Cubs, by the way, are not on this bracket. I don't know where they are. They're not here. They're not here. They're not here. And it was because this past week we managed to blow 2 6-0 leads in the same week. How is that even possible? Like David Ross, like I know he's Cubs royalty, but he needs to be fired. He needs to be fired.
A busted bullpen, man, and the
Drew Smiley
is
man,
horrendous. Drew Smiley, I can't with you, man. Get your rinky dink in the dirt curveballs out of here. I can't. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Okay, yeah, you had one cool little perfect game into the Dodgers, big whip. That was all the way in April. Teeing up now when it matters. You definitely didn't do that. And not to go too deep against with the Cubs and what happened with the Braves. No hate on Seiya, but we just could not.
No, I'm telling you. We were sitting on this couch watching it, and we were just losing our minds.
We were pretty livid.
Like I was throwing stuff around. Like it was not a sight to see. But it was good because I don't want to see. If the Cubs are going to play that bad, I don't want to see them in there. I really don't.
They don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We played that bad. We can't choke. It was a joke me and my grandfather make, and I know I told him about it. They call the Cubs. What they stand for is completely useless by September. I mean, 3 times in my lifetime I've been a diehard Cubs fan, which is consistently started watching. They've blown playoff potentials in September. In 2018, lost to the Brewers in the division and the wild card later that year. 2019, same scenario to the Cardinals that time. This year to the Brewers again, and to the Marlins took our spot. But the biggest takeaway from the Chicago Cubs is the busted bullpen they had and the decisions that David Ross made. I don't know what else is going to take for the team to be good.
If that front office has a brain, they will.
I mean, like you said, Cubs loyalty. I know you mentioned it, but he has to be better.
That's why I don't see him getting fired, because he is Cubs. I genuinely don't see it just because of that reason alone, which is sad because that shouldn't be an excuse to keep a guy. It just shouldn't.
No.
And they extended his contract.
Yeah, 3 years. You're correct.
Like, why?
3 years. It's just more.
I get the last couple of years. Okay.
Yeah.
Like we were actually bad, but like this year we had a squad. Like we picked up Bellinger, we picked up Swanson. No excuse. And by the way, Swanson is probably the most inconsistent player I've ever seen. He's elite on defense. He can be good at the bats. He can be, but he's so inconsistent with it. Like he either goes like 0 for 5 or he goes like 3 for 4. Like it makes no sense.
It's the same scenario with Javi Baez, honestly. It's almost the same thing. Great gloves. But Javi was a different scenario.
Yeah, but Javi swung at everything.
Yeah,
like
he swings at everything.
Dansby doesn't swing at everything like
but
he
Dansby
did.
just for some reason can't clutch up. I mean, we've had scenarios where Dansby had opportunities to give us leads and clutch up. He can't just do it. And I don't know if it's anything mental. It's a long season. I understand, because when you go 6-14 in September in the playoff race, that's not gonna cut it,
dude. And you win 12 games out of 28 in September.
That's pretty bad.
That is unacceptable.
You can't do that.
That is so unacceptable.
Can't do it.
I can't. You can't.
You
No baseball team can do that.
No, and you can't expect to make the playoffs.
Well, actually, no. I take that back. You can do that as a baseball team if you don't want to be in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
You can do that if you want to. If you want to be sitting at home watching the World Series.
Yeah, there you go.
Be our guest. Be our guest.
I mean, it's
you can
the
be
clubs.
like that. You can be like us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's even see from the players. We talk Dansby on our show, but I definitely feel like the Cubs have some off-season work to do. And Bellinger, how is that going to work out?
That is the big question mark, because his 1-year contract is up. Will he stay? Will he leave? Like, I don't know what he's gonna. I really don't know what he's gonna do. I don't.
I am very nervous to see the Cubs let him leave. I mean, we have instances we let players go. I see them signing him to maybe a 25, 30 million contract, depending on the years. He wants some money. He had a bounce back year from his 2019 career year. Everything are either career highs or tied with his career high back in his MVP season. He's had an over 300 average this year.
Yeah, this year he picked it up. Like
absolutely.
He was dealing with injuries at the beginning of the season, and then it kind of took him a little bit to get in the rhythm, but then he found it, and he was unstoppable.
Absolutely. He could not be stopped. I mean, the man was on an absolute tear. I mean, he was hitting homers left and right. He's actually the first Cub with 25 plus season, 25 homers, 25 plus steals since Javi Baez in 2018. How about that? I mean, he really just balled out, and he deserves the money.
He does.
And he needs to stay.
He deserves that long-term security.
He needs to stay because he
We
just
need
knows
him.
his glove is amazing. Oh, and let me ask you this. He's switched positions from first base and center field, which kind of shows the inconsistency in our first baseman. We need to sign a power, secure, consistent first baseman like Anthony Rizzo to help us. We can't have to switch back and forth.
Do you think we can bring him back? Because I don't know. The Yankees are kind of in shambles right now, so I think he might want out.
Well,
possibly. And if he wants out and he's a free agent,
why not?
I think he would want to come back.
He had a good year this year, but then he ended up falling off with that injury, the concussion protocol against Tatis earlier in the season. But if he can find his groove again and come to Chicago with them 4 Gold Gloves and his amazing bat, his consistent bat, yeah, I would love to have him back. I mean, Cubs Nation, my gosh, we'll go crazy.
We would go crazy, and we're going to be going crazy for these playoffs, dude.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
so hyped. That is our predictions.
Yeah,
we kind of talked about the Cubs a little bit on the pod. Yeah, I'm Jackson Burleson. This is my boy Gabe. We're both Cubs fans. If you didn't notice, this has been another episode of the Take Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Talk to me, baby. Talk to me nice. I'm from another world, baby, yeah. Broadway paradise. They think I'm way too cold, cause I put my heart up on ice.